Just in a different way, if I can separate it in a different way, it's paradigmatic, meaning how you think about your purpose and your potential, your beingness and your doing, how you think about that, and your purpose could be encapsulated in a personal purpose statement. That is why it's important, like Pierre remarked, that other people don't know their reason for being, why they're here. That you and I take the opportunity to say, let me journey with you and let's discover that together. Let's try to find the mystery of you. Let's try to see God's intention with this beautiful life called you. And then one does certain things to help a client to discover that personal purpose and to encapsulate it in a deep understanding. And then on the other side, the potential on the two levels, personal and interpersonal, and the personal level, body, soul, and spirit. Let me help you, client, to discover your personality. Let me help you, client, to see some things of yourself about your optimism. Let's do an optimism test. Or let's do a defining moments exercise to see what are those things that had a definite impact on you to form you in the way that you are and the way that you think about yourself. And it's not just people development tools, it's also, remember, the meaningful conversation where you and I create a reflective space for our clients to look at themselves. And we have that meaningful conversation. Boy, I had a beautiful experience with one client yesterday. I've seen her now for quite long. And she remains on an intellectual level with me. And somehow I dodged her because I wanted to go deeper. And I remarked on how she answers my questions. So I remarked on the process. Because I asked her, when she sat down, I say, "Nou, wie is jy?" I know her, man. I know her for 2 years now. But I asked her this question, "Nou, wie is jy regtig?" That's the first question. She was like, "Wil jy regtig weet of hoekom vra jy so stupid vraag?" I said, "No, I want to know, who are you really?" And then she gave her name. And I sat and listened. She thought it was sufficient. It wasn't. So the silence forced her to answer more. And she started to say more things. And when she stopped, I say, "So in a name, you are encapsulated." And then she starts to tell me about how important names are, 2 or 3 incidents where people were really taken up in the right and correct use of their names, because it was like not normal names, names that we all know. But she never mentioned the name. She just said that person had a koppelteken naam and his father was very concerned that we pronounce it right. And that person had a Pierre name, and now he came to his family and say, "It's okay if my friends call me that." And it's not Pierre, it's something else, I can't remember. "But you in my family should call me by my name." But she never mentioned Pierre or whatever. And then I just remarked on the process further and say, you know what I find interesting is you talk about identity being a name, but in all what you've told me now for 5 minutes, you never mentioned a name. You just remained on a theoretical level explaining name. Do you always do that? So somehow it forced her to think about, okay, it's true, I never mentioned a name. I don't know why I do that. And then we explored further, but eventually it was an incredible session. She used all my tissues, so it was incredible. I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole, for whatever value that should be for someone. And then on the interpersonal level, on the other side, part of your potential in the 4 contexts. If you can and I can define ourselves in terms of this, you will get a clear picture of you. You will start to understand the person that knows herself or himself, really know, is a different kind of person. than the one that doesn't know who he or she is. So this is part of the journey called the process of becoming, helping our clients to define their own identities. That's why, as I've said earlier in my definition, that's why it must happen within a helping relationship, where there's loads of unconditional positive regard or love, where there's loads of congruence and honesty and truth spoken within that love, and where there's loads of empathy, where you can move into your client's world and remain there without feeling threatened or losing yourself.